Hello everyone. So today we are going to start new chapter, that is diversity in living organisms. So as you know that each organism is different from each other to a lesser or greater extent. You can take the example of your height as well as your friend's height. Your height might be more than your friend's height, or your friend's height might be more than your height. So there is also variety in the organism, from a small bacteria to a large whale, from a small plants to large redwood trees, which in the California, which high up to 100 feet or so. There is much of the variety and diversity in all the living organisms. In order to make relevant groups to study variety of life forms, we need to decide which characteristics decide more fundamental differences among the organisms. So now everyone, we are going to study basis of classification. Aristotle classified animals according to whether they lived on land, water or in the air. This has some drawbacks. That is, animals living in water can clearly differ from each other. Only their habitat is same. Thus, we need to decide characteristics to be used as basis for making broadest divisions. We have to also make subgroups. We need to understand what characteristics is. So basically characteristic is a particular function or particular feature. For example, we can take that five fingers which are present on our hand. It is our characteristic feature. Nowadays we look at many interrelated characteristics starting from nature of cell in order to classify all living organisms. Nucleus can be basic characteristics of classification. Eukaryotes have membrane-bound organelles, including nucleus, which is not found in many organisms. Cell can also act as a characteristics as would result in body design. For example, we can take single-celled or multi-celled. Single-celled, we can say that amoeba is a one type of example of single-celled organism. So, characteristics of body design for classification of plant is much more different than those which is important to the animals. This is because basic designs are different based on need to make their own food and to acquire the food. So now we will study about classification and evolution. All the living things are identified and categorized on the basis of their own body design in form and functions. Characteristics that came into existence earlier are likely to be more basic than the characteristics that have came into existence later. When we connect idea of evolution that was given by Charles Darwin in his book to classification, we find some group of organisms which have ancient body designs that have not changed. Those in first groups frequently referred to as primitive or lower organisms, while those in second groups are referred to as advanced or higher organisms. This type of classification in reality is not possible and is not correct. Now we will study hierarchy of classification groups. Biologist Ernest Haeckel in the year 1894, Robert Whittaker in the year 1969, and Carl Woese in the year 1977 have tried to classify all the organisms who broad categories called kingdom. Whittaker classification has 5 kingdoms: Monera, Protista, Fungi, Plantae and Animalia, and is widely used all over. These groups are formed on the basis of the cell structures, mode and source of nutrition and body organization. Further classification is done by naming subgroups at various sublevels. First comes kingdom, then phylum for animals or division for plants, then class, then order, then family, then genus, then species. Thus, by separating organisms on the basis of the hierarchy of characteristics, we arrive at basic unit of classification named species. We will study now important characteristics of 5 kingdoms of Whittaker. First kingdom of Whittaker was Monera. They do not have defined nucleus or organelles. They do not show multicellular or multinuclear body designs. They show diversity based on many other characteristics, that is, some have cell walls while some do not have. The mode of nutrition of organism in this group may be either by synthesizing their own food, that is autotrophic, or getting it from environment, that is heterotrophic. The animals or the organisms which are included in Monera are bacteria, blue-green algae, and cyanobacteria and mycoplasma. The second of the kingdom is Protista. It includes many unicellular eukaryotic organisms. The mode of nutrition can be autotrophic or heterotrophic. Examples are unicellular algae, diatoms, and protozoa. Now, the third kingdom, according to Whitaker, is fungi. These are heterotrophic eukaryotic organisms. Some use decaying organic material as food and thus called saprotrophs. Others require a living protoplasm or a host organism for food. These are called as parasites. Many have capacity to become multicellular organisms at certain stages in their life. Cell walls are made up of tough complex sugar called chitin. Examples of fungi are yeast, molds, and mushrooms. Some fungi species live in permanent with mutually dependent relationship with blue-green algae. Such relation is called a symbiotic relationship. In this relationship, one of the organism or one of the thing is dependent on the other, and other is somewhat dependent on the first one. The next kingdom is Plantae kingdom. These have multicellular eukaryotes with cell walls, autotrophs, and use chlorophyll for their photosynthesis. All plants are included in this group. Next of the kingdom is Animalia kingdom. It includes all the organisms which are multicellular eukaryotes without cell walls. These are heterotrophs. Now we'll be looking forward to the basic classification which we have done up till now. Organisms are divided in two types, prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Prokaryotes are unicellular and Monera comes under unicellular. Eukaryotes are divided in two columns, that is unicellular, multicellular. Protista comes under unicellular. Under multicellular we have with cell wall and without cell wall. Animalia comes under without cell wall. In which cell wall we have the organism which do not perform photosynthesis and the organism which perform photosynthesis. The organism which do not perform photosynthesis are fungi, and those who perform photosynthesis are Plantae. Now we will be studying the kingdom Plantae. The first level of classification among plants depend whether plant body has well differentiated or distinct part. The next level is differentiated body has special tissues for transportation of water and other substances or not. The further classification is it has ability to bear seeds or not. Under the kingdom Plantae, we have five types of divisions. Those are Thallophyta, Bryophyta, Pteridophyta, Gymnosperm, and Angiosperm. Now the first one is Thallophyta. Plants do not differentiated. These plants do not have differentiated body design. These are called as algae. Plants are predominantly aquatic. Example of Thallophyta are Spirogyra, Ulothrix, Cladophora, Ulva, and Chara. The next type of division is Bryophyta. They are also called as amphibian of the plant kingdoms. They are commonly differentiated to form stem and leaf-like structure. They have no specialized tissue for the conduction of water and other substances from one part of body to another. Example of this are Funaria, that is moss, and Merchandia. Third part is Pteridophyta. The plant body is differentiated in roots, stems, and leaves. These have specialized tissue for conduction of water and other substances. Examples of this are Marsilia, ferns, and horsetails. The reproduction organs of plants in all these three groups are very inconspicuous and thus called cryptogams. On the other hand, plants with well differentiated reproductive parts that are ultimately make seeds are called as phenograms. This group is further classified based on whether seeds are naked or enclosed in fruits, giving us two groups, gymnosperms and angiosperms. Gymnosperms. Gymno means naked and sperma means seeds. This is the classification done in the German. Greek language. Plants of this group bear naked seeds. Plants are usually perennial, evergreen, and woody. Example of gymnosperms are pines and deodar tree. Now the next one is angiosperm. Angio means covered, sperma means seed. Angiosperms are called as flowering plant. Seed develop inside an ovary which is modified as a fruit. Plant embryos in seed have structure called cotyledons. Angiosperms are divided in two groups on the basis of the number of cotyledons present in the seed. If there is a single cotyledon present, it is called as monocotyledon or monocots. If two cotyledons are present, then it is called as dicots. Now we will be classifying we will be briefly discussing the classification of plants which we have done up till now. That is, plants are divided into two parts, that is do not have differentiated plant parts, that is Thallophyta have differentiated plant parts, which is furtherly divided into two types, which is without specialized vascular tissue and with vascular tissue. Without Bryophyta comes under the category of without specialized vascular tissue. Now with vascular tissue are more two subgroups, that is do not produce seeds and produce seeds. Do not produce seeds has subpart Pteridophyta. The produce seeds part has also two parts, that is bare naked seeds or bare seeds inside fruits. Gymnosperms comes under bare naked seeds and angiosperms comes under bare seeds inside fruits. Angiosperms has more two types, that is monocots and dicots. Now we will study the kingdom Animalia. Organisms in the Animalia are eukaryotic, multicellular and heterotrophic. Cells do not have cell walls. Further Animalia is classified on the basis of extent and type of body designs and the differentiation found. There are 10 kinds of phylum which are found in the category of kingdom Animalia. First is Porifera. The organisms with holes are called as Porifera, comes under this category. Non-motive animals attached to some solid support. There are holes and pores all over the body. These lead to canal system that helps in circulating water throughout the body to bring in food and oxygen. These organisms are covered with hard layer outside, or we can call it a skeleton. The body design involves very minimal differentiation and division into tissues, commonly called sponges and mainly found in the marine habitats. Example of Porifera is Spongilla. Second type of phylum is Coelenterata. They are called as aquatic animals, that is animal living in water. They show more body design differentiation. They have cavity in the body. Body is made up of layers of cell. One makes up cells on the outside of body and others make cell on the inner part of the inner lining of the body. Many of these species live in the corals, that is colonies, which have solitary like span. Example of the Coelenterata are Hydra, Jellyfish and sea anemones. Third phylum is Platyhelminthes. Body of animals in this group is more far complexly designed than in other two we discussed earlier. Body is bilaterally symmetrical, that is right and left halves of the body have same design. There are three layers of cells from which differentiated tissues can be made. Thus animals called triploblastic. There are no true internal body cavity or coelom in which well-developed organ can be accommodated. Body is flattened from top to bottom, thus also called flatoworms. Example of this is Planarias and liver flukes. The next type is Nematoda. Body of these organisms are bilateral, symmetrical and triploblastic. Body is cylindrical rather than flattened. Tissues are present but there are no real organs, although a body cavity or pseudocoelom is present. These are very familiar as parasitic worms causing disease such as elephantiasis or worms in intestines. Example are Ascaris and Wucheria. The next type of subgroup is Annelida. These are also bilaterally symmetrical and triploblastic, but in addition have true body cavity, have extensive organ differentiation. Differentiation occurs in segmental fashion with segments lined up one after other from head to tail, found in variety of habitats, that is freshwater, marine water as well as on land. Examples are earthworm and leeches. The next phylum is Arthropoda phylum. Largest group of animal is found in Arthropoda. Bilaterally symmetrical and segmented. Open circulatory system, and so blood does not flow in well-defined vessels in Arthropoda. Coelom cavities blood filled. They have jointed legs. Example of Arthropoda are Pracons, butterflies, houseflies, spiders, scorpions, crabs and many more. The next part is Mollusca. They have bilateral symmetry, coelom cavity is reduced, they have little segmentation, they have no open circulatory system and kidney-like organs for excretion. Foot is used for moving around. Examples of mollusca are snails and mussels. The next phylum is Echinodermata. In Greek, echinos means hedgehog. that is spiny mammal, and derma means skin. These are spiny skinned organisms. These are exclusively free living marine animals. They are triploblastic and have coelomic cavity, have a peculiar water driven tube system that they use for moving around. They have hard calcium carbonate structure which they use as skeleton. Examples of echinodermata are sea stars and sea arachnids. The next phylum is Protochordata, bilaterally symmetrical, triploblastic, and have a coelom. In addition, they show a new feature of body design called notochord. Notochord is a rod-like support structure which separates nervous tissue from the gut, provides space for the muscles to attach for ease of movements. These are also called as marine animals. Example of Protochordata are Balanoglossus, Herdmania, and Amphosuchus. The last type of phylum in the Animalia is Vertebrata. They have true verbal column and internal skeleton allowing completely different distribution of muscle attachment points to be used for movement. They are bilaterally symmetrical, triploblastic, coelomic, and segmented with complex differentiation of body tissues and organs. All the chordates possess the following features. They have a notochord, they have a dorsal nerve cord, they are triploblastic, they have paired gill pouches, and they are coelomate. Vertebrates are grouped in 6 classes. First class is Coelostomate. These are jawless vertebrates. They have an elongated eel-like body, circular mouth, slimy skin, and scaleless. They are ectoparasites in the bearers of in comparison or bearers of the other vertebrates. Examples are Myxin. The next type of class is Pisces. These are fishes and are exclusively aquatic animals. Their skin is covered with scales or plates. They obtain oxygen dissolved in water by using gills. Body is streamlined and muscular tail is used for movement. They are cold-blooded and their hearts have only 2 chambers, unlike human who have 4 chambers. They lay eggs. Some fish have skeleton made entirely of cartilage, example sharks, and some have skeleton made up of bones and cartilage both, example tuna or rohu. The next class is amphibia. These differ from the fish in the lack of cells, in having mucous glands in skin, and have 3-chambered heart. Respiration is done through gills or lungs. They lay eggs. These animals are found in water and on land. Examples of amphibia are frogs, toads, and salamanders. The next class is reptilia. These are cold-blooded and have scales and breathe through lungs. Most of them have 3-chambered heart. Crocodiles have 4-chambered heart. They lay eggs with tough coverings and do not need to lay their eggs in water unlike amphibians. Examples of reptilia are snakes, turtles, lizards, and crocodiles. The 5th class is aves. These are warm-blooded animals and have 4-chambered heart. They lay eggs. There is an outside covering of feathers and 2 forelimbs are modified for flight. They breathe through lungs. All birds fall in the category of aves. Now the last class in the group of vertebrates is Mammalia. They are warm-blooded animals with 4-chambered hearts. They have mammary glands for production of milk to nourish their young ones. Their skin has no skin. Their skin has skin as well as sweat and oil glands. Most mammals produce live young ones. Few of them, like platypus and echidna, lay eggs, and some of them, like kangaroos, give birth to the poorly develop young ones. Example of mammalia are cat, human, rat, bat, whale, and etc. So the last topic of this chapter is nomenclature. That is, scientific name of an organism is thus unique and can be used to identify it anywhere in the world. Scientific name is a result of process of classification when it puts along with the organism. There need to be certain convention that to be followed while writing the scientific name. First of all, name of the genus begins with the capital letter. Name of the species begins with the small letter. While printed, scientific name is given in italics. While written in hand, genus name and species name have to be underlined separately. These are some type of convention we need to follow to write the names of the organism. That is scientific name which we have to write of the organisms. So now we will cover that what we have learned up till now. We have learned that classification helps us in exploring the diversity of life forms. The major characteristics considered for classifying all organisms into five major kingdoms are: first, whether they are made up of prokaryotic or eukaryotic cell. Second, whether the cells are livingly, singly, or organized into multicellular and thus complex organisms. Third is whether cells have cell wall and whether they have prepared their own food or not. All living organisms are divided on the basis of five kingdoms, that is, namely Monera, Protista, Fungi, Plantae, and Animalia. The classification of life forms is related to their evolution. Plantae and Animalia are further classified into subdivisions on the basis of their increasing complexity of body organization. Plants are divided into five groups: thallophytes, bryophytes, pteridophytes, gymnosperms, and angiosperms. Animals are divided into 10 groups: Porifera, Coelenterata, Platyhelminthes, Nematoda, Annelida, Arthropoda, Mollusca, Echinodermata, Protochordata, and Vertebrata. The binomial nomenclature makes for a uniform way of identification of vast diversity of life around us. The binomial nomenclature is made up of two words: a generic name and a specific name. So thank you guys. Hope you have learned some many more things by learning this chapter. Now we will get forward towards the exercises which are present in this chapter. So now the first question is, what are the advantages of classifying organisms? Classification is an important branch of science due to the following reasons. First, classification makes the study of huge varieties of organisms easy. Second, it reveals before us a picture of all forms of organisms at a glance. Third, it helps us to understand the relationship among the different groups of organisms. Fourth, it serves as a base for development of other pure biological science. Fifth, it also helps us understanding and development of the other applied branches of science such as agriculture, public health, and etc. The second question is, how would you choose between two characteristics to be used for developing a hierarchy in classification? The characteristics which is dependent on the previous one and would decide the variety in the next level should be chosen for developing a hierarchy in classification. Third question is, explain the basis for grouping organisms into five kingdoms. The basis for grouping into five kingdoms are: first, whether the organisms are made up of prokaryotic or eukaryotic cells. Second, whether the organism is unicellular, that is, a cell living singly, or organized into multicellular and thus complex organisms. Third is whether the cells have cell wall. And fourth and last one is whether they prepare their own food or they get their food from outside. Fourth question is, what is major division in the Plantae? What is basis for these divisions? Major divisions in kingdom Plantae are Thallophyta, Bryophyta, Pteridophyta, Gymnosperms, and Angiosperms. Basis for classification Plantae division are: first, whether the plant body has well differentiated distinct components. Second, whether the differentiated plant body has special tissues for transportation of water and other substances within. Third, whether the plants bear the seed. Fourth, whether the seeds are enclosed within the fruits. Fifth question is, how are the criteria for deciding divisions in the plant different from criteria for deciding the subgroups among the animals? The criteria for classification of plant kingdom into division depend upon differentiation of plant body components. Second, presence of transport issues. Third, ability to produce seeds. And fourth, enclosure of seeds in fruits. On the basis, animals cannot be classified because animals do not exhibit these characteristics. Animals are classified based on the extent and type of body design differentiation found in them. And the last question is, explain how animals in vertebrata are classified into further subgroups. Vertebrates are classified into further subgroups on the basis of simple to complex forms and functions of the organisms. For example, fishes have two-chambered heart, amphibians and reptiles have three-chambered heart, whereas aves and mammals have four-chambered heart to keep oxygenated and deoxygenated blood separately. So thank you guys. Here ends our exercises part. Hope you will understand this and you will study this chapter. So thank you.